I know what you're thinking. It looks like the Mini's just exploded all over the front of the garage, but this is actually every single part I have taken off the car up to now.
This is the failed head gasket. Probably the reason why all these bits are on the floor in the first place. We've got the intake, the turbo, the AC compressor, oil filter housing, pistons, catalytic converter, heat shield, the injectors. I've even got bolts that I have no idea where they go. There is anything and everything that needed to come off out here on the floor right now. Also the massive rad pack. And then in the corner ahead, there's been a lot of work on that, which I will reveal later on in the video. Now the good news is we're finally about to start going in the other direction. The head is starting to go back together. This now means we're officially moving from teardown to rebuild. We've now got to get all of these parts from here,
And when I say we, I obviously mean me,
back onto here. There's still so much to do, so much to prep, the cleaning, the gaskets, the timing, the checking all the tolerances, the making sure everything goes back in the right place, the finding the bolts that I have no idea go on which part. As you can possibly hear, it's now raining heavily outside, so I've had to bring the parts inside. However, I did want to show you a few things, and if you've ever owned an R56, you'll probably recognise half of these parts. Down here we have the high pressure fuel pump. That's come up looking really well. Everything's had a really good clean. This is the vacuum pump. Again, looks good. Seals will need replacing. We have the fuel rail and the injectors. The oil filter housing, that's cleaned up really well. The oil pickup pump. And then we have the turbo and the exhaust manifold. Now these cars are known for carbon buildup, but to be honest, that doesn't look too bad in there. Also in the Mini series, they're known for the death rattle, which comes from the timing chain. And whether that's something to do with the timing chain guides, as you can see on this one, it's split, which is possibly a reason why there was a lot of plastic in the sump and around the crank bolt. We have the suspected head gasket problem. And then we have the beautiful looking pistons. Look at them. They have come up fantastically well.
This is a shot of what the pistons used to look like, and in the next episode, the build continues.
So much so that you can see the actual markings in the top of the pistons now. We also have the huge, for a car this big, the size of that intercooler radiator. All of the damage that occurred on this was because of this, a suspected head gasket failure. But what I didn't expect was the amount of damage that might have gone on inside the cylinder head.
I picked this JCW up from a salvage auction as a non-runner. Turns out a blown head gasket sent coolant through the oil and destroyed the head. This could put the build on hold.
After cleaning up the pistons last night and being on that roller coaster high, and then deciding to clean the cam caps, in fact the piston caps came next, so we cleaned up the piston caps and then thought we'd move on to the cam caps. However, then that is when I discovered the low of the roller coaster. So I hadn't paid a lot of attention to these when they came off. That is possibly the biggest schoolboy error I've made so far of this build, or strip down as you might want to call it. So what I found was a lot. You can see that scoring on the inside of every cam. Now, some are worse than others. Some you can definitely get a fingernail stuck in. Same.
So as the camshaft was obviously still spinning when the contaminated oil hit the head, the cam bearing journals, the head bearings, and the cam caps have all taken a bit of a hit, and there's grooves in every single joint.
I'm now left with the fact that even the head has got slight markings where the cam goes. And what I didn't realise, again because I'm new to this, is the fact that the cam caps and the head are all one piece. Then basically your options are try and get it honed by a machine specialist. Your other option is to get a replacement cylinder head. Or the other option, I've decided to get the wet and dry out, soak it in WD, and then give it a light rub. I'm not trying to rub it down, I'm just trying to get rid of the sharpness. You can see where there is grooves, but there's no finger catching.
So after getting everything smooth to the touch again, I gave everything a good wash with hot soapy water, brake cleaner, and then oiled it all down. Just while my lad was having a dance in the back. Now we're going to assemble it all, torque it down, give the cams a spin, and hopefully there's no noise coming back.
Nothing. And this one? Oh yeah, this one sounds like it's got bells ringing from it.
What's going on with the church?
Again, nothing.
So with the camshaft spinning freely and no grinding, it's now time to take it all apart again so I can get the followers in, the camshafts in, the cam caps on, and we can get it torqued down to spec. Obviously, first off, we've got to get some lubrication in. So we're going to add assembly lube, and then we can start putting it back together again.
So just to show you where I have been oiling, that is the automatic lash adjuster. We're oiling inside there, oiling the roller. This which sits on the valve stem right at the top. So we'll make sure that we get all of them. Lash adjuster, valve stem where that sits, and the roller itself.
That's all the cam followers now back in place, and I'm now lubricating all of the head bearings. The exhaust cam is now going back in. And now the intake cam.
So now we've put the camshafts back in, we're going to lubricate all the journals, which are these, and the lobes. Make sure, again, these have got plenty of lubrication on them. Okay, so now the followers are in, the camshafts are on, everything's oiled up. It's now time to put the cam caps back on again. Remembering that these are all numbered, and it starts with a 0 down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is up here. 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go.
Cam bolts are next to go in. And although I'm doing this with a socket, these are all going down finger tight in a sequence.
This is 10 Newton meters. Hopefully you can see that.
I'm now making another pass over the cam bolts, getting it ready for its last and final torque.
All done. So that's everything that's come off the car. And somehow it all needs to go back on again. But at least we've made a start. The cylinder head is now finally rebuilt. The cam followers in, the camshafts are on, the cam caps are on, they're torqued down to spec. That is looking 100% better than when it first came off the car. In the next episode,
The rebuild continues and we start with the cylinders.
so new bearings, new piston rings to go back on the pistons will go back in, and we'll start building this engine from the bottom up. If you've enjoyed watching this video, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.